I am Jarvis, your storyteller. Welcome to the Science Fiction Exploration. If you like the story, please subscribe to our channel.
The Antarctic wind howled outside the research station's reinforced walls as Dr. Marcus Rivera stared at his monitoring equipment in disbelief. The quantum resonance scanner, designed to detect subglacial lakes, had picked up something impossible, a perfectly geometric structure buried 3 kilometers beneath the ice sheet. Director Patel, you need to see this, Marcus called out, his voice trembling with excitement. The head of the International Polar Research Station, Dr. Aisha Patel, walked over, her decades of experience evident in her measured stride. The holographic display showed a massive hexagonal structure, its edges too precise to be natural. What caught their attention wasn't just its size, roughly 5 kilometers across, but the faint energy signature it emitted, pulsing in a regular pattern that defied conventional physics. Within hours, the discovery triggered a cascade of events. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. The world's leading scientists and military strategists gathered in unprecedented cooperation. Operation Deep Guard was launched, bringing together experts from 30 nations. Dr. Nikolai Volkov, the renowned quantum physicist, arrived first, followed by Captain Jun Yamamoto of the Japanese Self-Defense Forces, an expert in advanced robotics and deep ice operations. The team was rounded out by Dr. Fatima Al-Rahman, whose groundbreaking work in xenoarchaeology had revolutionized our understanding of potential extraterrestrial civilizations. The excavation began immediately. Advanced thermal drills, guided by AI systems, carved through the ancient ice. Each layer they penetrated revealed new mysteries. At 2 kilometers down, they discovered a shell of unknown material that their most powerful scanners couldn't penetrate. The molecular structure doesn't match anything in our database, Nikolai announced, examining the samples under a quantum microscope. It's as if someone rewrote the laws of physics at the atomic level. On the 23rd day of excavation, they reached the outer hull. The structure's surface was midnight black, yet seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Fatima's team discovered what appeared to be an entrance, a massive doorway sealed for millennia. Look at these markings, Fatima pointed to intricate patterns etched into the hull. They're not just decorative. They're moving. Indeed, the symbols were shifting slowly, rearranging themselves as if responding to their presence. Captain Yamamoto's drones captured everything, transmitting data back to labs worldwide. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a routine scan, Marcus noticed that the patterns responded to specific frequencies in human brainwaves. Working with Dr. Al-Rahman, they developed an interface that could potentially communicate with the structure. It's like it was waiting for us, Marcus explained to the team. Not just waiting, testing us. Every pattern we've deciphered has been a puzzle, a test of human intelligence and creativity. The decision to attempt first contact was unanimous. Marcus, Fatima, and Captain Yamamoto led the team that would enter the structure. As they approached the entrance, the patterns suddenly aligned, and a voice echoed in their minds, not in words, but in pure concepts and emotions. Welcome, children of Earth. You have passed the first trial. The door opened, revealing a vast chamber bathed in soft blue light. Inside, they found not just a vessel, but a legacy left by an ancient civilization, the precursors, as they came to be known. Holographic displays activated, showing stars, galaxies, and a darkness moving between them. Your world stands at the crossroads, the voice continued. We left these vessels as seeds, waiting for the right civilization to grow strong enough to inherit them. You are not the first to find us, but you are the first to demonstrate the necessary combination of intelligence, cooperation, and creativity. As the team ventured deeper into the vessel, they discovered it was one of 7, scattered across Earth's most remote locations. Each contained a piece of the precursor's legacy, their knowledge, their technology, and their warning. The human race had just inherited the keys to the galaxy, but with them came the responsibility of facing a threat that had already destroyed one advanced civilization. The real question was, would humanity rise to the challenge, or would they follow the precursors into extinction? Marcus looked at his colleagues, seeing the same mix of fear and determination in their eyes. They had started this expedition looking for scientific discoveries. Instead, they had found humanity's greatest challenge, and perhaps its destiny. The ancient starship hummed with power, awakening systems dormant for millions of years. Above them, the Antarctic storm raged on, oblivious to the moment that would forever change human history. The first vessel had awakened, and with it, Earth's chapter in a cosmic war had begun. 2 months after the initial discovery, the Antarctic Research Station had transformed into a sprawling complex of interconnected facilities. Teams of scientists and engineers worked around the clock, trying to unlock the secrets of the precursor vessel while similar expeditions mobilized to locations across the globe. Dr. Marcus Rivera stood in what they had dubbed the archive chamber, surrounded by holographic displays showing star charts and technical schematics. Dar. Fatima Al-Rahman worked beside him, her fingers dancing through the air as she manipulated the alien interface they'd partially decoded. The precursors weren't just advanced, Fatima said, examining a technical readout. They had mastered fundamental forces we haven't even discovered yet. Look at these energy signatures, they're manipulating the fabric of reality itself. Captain Yamamoto's drones had mapped most of the vessel's interior, revealing vast chambers filled with dormant machinery and mysterious artifacts. In the central control room, Dr. Nikolai Volkov led a team attempting to interface human quantum computers with the vessel's systems. Each breakthrough leads to 10 new mysteries, Nikolai muttered, running another simulation. It's like trying to teach quantum mechanics to a medieval peasant, we lack the basic concepts to understand their technology. A breakthrough came when Dr. Aisha Patel noticed patterns in the vessel's power fluctuations. It's not random, she announced during an emergency briefing. The ship is running diagnostic cycles, preparing its systems for full activation. It's been doing this since we first made contact. The revelation sparked intense debate among world leaders. Some pushed for immediate activation of the vessel, while others urged caution. The decision was made for them when long-range telescopes detected anomalous objects approaching from deep space. Inside the vessel's command center, Marcus and his team worked frantically to understand the ship's weapons and defensive systems. The holographic AI, which they'd named Atlas, provided guidance in its cryptic way. The vessels were created for symbiosis, Atlas explained, its form shifting like liquid light. Your biological creativity combined with our computational power. Apart, neither can face what comes. Dr. Rivera and Captain Yamamoto developed a neural interface system that allowed human operators to connect directly with the vessel's consciousness. The first tests were promising but revealed an unexpected side effect: the ship wasn't just accepting commands, it was changing its pilots. Their brain patterns are evolving, Dr. Patel reported, reviewing medical scans. Neural pathways are reconfiguring, processing information in entirely new ways. The ship isn't just a weapon, it's a tool for human evolution. As teams around the world reported similar findings from other vessels, a pattern emerged. Each ship had chosen specific individuals as primary interfaces, people whose minds displayed unique combinations of creativity, empathy, and analytical thinking. The changes accelerated when they detected the first direct communication between vessels. Marcus was in the neural interface chair when it happened, his consciousness expanded through the ship's systems. Suddenly, he wasn't alone. Other minds touched his, the chosen pilots from vessels in the Andes, the Mariana Trench, and the Sahara Desert. We are becoming something new, he told his colleagues afterward, his eyes glowing faintly with residual energy. The ships aren't just tools, they're catalysts for the next stage of human development. The transformation wasn't without cost. Some interface candidates couldn't handle the neural load, their minds burning out from contact with the alien consciousness. Others developed abilities that bordered on the impossible: precognition, telepathy, direct manipulation of quantum fields. Director Patel established strict protocols for neural interface sessions, but the ships had their own agenda. They began selecting additional candidates, reaching out to minds across the globe. Children woke from dreams speaking ancient languages. Scientists found solutions to impossible problems in sudden flashes of insight. The vessels were preparing humanity for something, but even Atlas wouldn't reveal the full scope of what was coming. Understanding must be earned, it told them. Premature knowledge leads to destruction. The precursors learned this too late. As the approaching objects grew closer, the vessel's activities intensified. Power signatures increased exponentially as dormant systems activated. In the neural interface chamber, Marcus received a vision that chilled him to his core: countless worlds consumed by living darkness, entire civilizations reduced to empty husks. Time grows short, Atlas announced one day, its usual calm demeanor showing signs of urgency. The enemy approaches. You must complete the awakening before they arrive. The final stage of activation required synchronized connection of all 7 vessels. Teams worldwide prepared for the largest coordinated operation in human history. Success would give humanity access to technology beyond imagination. Failure would leave Earth defenseless against an enemy that had already destroyed civilizations far more advanced than their own. In the Antarctic complex, Marcus prepared for the neural interface that would synchronize their vessel with the others. Dar. Al-Rahman and Captain Yamamoto would serve as his anchors, helping his mind navigate the overwhelming flood of alien consciousness. Whatever happens, he told them, remember that we chose this. The ships didn't just choose us, we proved ourselves worthy of their legacy. As the interface activated, Marcus felt his consciousness expand beyond the confines of his physical form. 6 other minds joined his, their thoughts merging with the ancient awareness of the vessels. In that moment of connection, they finally understood the true purpose of the precursor's gift. The ships weren't just weapons or tools, they were seeds of transformation. Through them, humanity would either transcend its limitations and take its place among the cosmic powers, or fall trying. The choice had been made. The awakening had begun. The first direct evidence of the enemy arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. Dr. Marcus Rivera was deep in neural connection with the Antarctic vessel when he felt it, a disturbance in the quantum field that made his enhanced senses scream in alarm. Across the globe, the other vessel pilots experienced the same sensation. Something just entered the Kuiper belt, Dr. Nikolai Volkov announced, his hands flying over the holographic controls. It's consuming everything in its path. Asteroids, radiation, light itself, all of it just vanishes on contact. The vessel's AI, Atlas, projected a visualization of the approaching entity. It appeared as a web of darkness spreading across space, tendrils of void reaching out to ensnare anything that came near. The enemy sends scouts first, Atlas explained. Small fragments of itself to test new hunting grounds. In the command center, Captain Jun Yamamoto coordinated with military forces worldwide. We're tracking similar anomalies approaching Mars, he reported. The outer defense grid is already responding. The precursors had seeded the solar system with automated defense platforms, dormant for millennia until humanity activated the vessels. Now these ancient weapons stirred to life, preparing for their first battle in countless ages. Dr. Fatima Al-Rahman worked with the combined consciousness of the vessel pilots, helping them understand the weapons at their disposal. The precursor technology doesn't just attack physical matter, she explained to the UN Security Council. It targets the fundamental forces that hold reality together. The transformation of the vessel pilots had accelerated. Marcus could now perceive quantum states directly, seeing the probability waves that underpinned physical reality. Dar. Aisha Patel's research team documented other changes: enhanced neural plasticity, spontaneous tissue regeneration, and the ability to process information at superhuman speeds. We're becoming living quantum computers, Marcus told his colleagues during a rare break from neural integration. The vessels aren't just changing our minds, they're rewriting our basic biology. The first battle for Earth's survival began at the edge of the solar system. Through the vessel's sensors, humanity watched as the ancient defense platforms engaged the scout entity. Beams of concentrated probability collapsed quantum states, trying to disrupt the enemy's impossible structure. The entity responded with terrible efficiency, absorbing the attacks and learning from them. It adapts, Atlas warned. Each failed attempt makes it stronger. This is how it consumed the precursors, turning their own power against them. Director Patel coordinated the global response from the Antarctic facility. All vessels report ready for synchronized defense deployment, she announced. Pilots, prepare for full neural integration. Marcus settled into the neural interface chair as medical staff monitored his vital signs. Around the world, 6 other pilots did the same. Their enhanced minds joined together, merging with the vessel's vast consciousness to form a unified defense network. Through their combined awareness, they perceived the true nature of their enemy. The void entity wasn't just consuming matter and energy, it was devouring probability itself, collapsing all possible futures into a single state of absolute entropy. Now we understand why the precursors chose humanity, Fatima said, watching the pilots work. Our greatest strength isn't technology or intelligence, it's our ability to imagine new possibilities, to create futures that shouldn't exist. The vessels channeled this uniquely human trait, using it to generate quantum states that the enemy couldn't predict or consume. Captain Yamamoto's tactical expertise guided the defense platforms in a dance of impossible geometries, herding the scout entity into a prepared trap. All pilots, initiate probability collapse, Marcus commanded through the neural link. 7 minds focused as one, wielding power that warped the fabric of spacetime. The vessels generated a field of pure possibility, overwhelming the enemy's ability to process new states. For a moment, the void entity seemed to shriek in frequencies that existed outside normal spacetime. Then it shattered, fragments of absolute darkness scattering across the solar system before dissipating into nothing. But their victory came with a price. The neural strain left the pilots unconscious for days. When they awoke, they found their transformation had progressed even further. They could communicate telepathically without the vessel's help, and their perception of reality had fundamentally altered. This was only a scout, Atlas reminded them. The main body of the enemy approaches. It will have learned from this encounter. The next battle will be far more difficult. Analysis of the battle data revealed both hope and concern. The vessel's weapons had proven effective, but the enemy's adaptive capabilities were beyond anything they had anticipated. Each engagement would need to be completely unique, no strategy would work twice. We need more pilots, Director Patel declared. The neural load is too much for just 7 people. We need to accelerate the transformation process. But finding compatible candidates proved challenging. The vessels were incredibly selective, rejecting most potential pilots. Those who were chosen faced a difficult path, the transformation process was painful, and not everyone survived the integration. Marcus spent long hours in the archive chamber, searching for answers in the precursor's records. They faced the same problem, he told his team. Their civilization was too rigid, too set in its ways. They couldn't adapt fast enough. That's why they chose us. Humanity's greatest strength is our diversity, our ability to change and grow. As they prepared for the next phase of the war, a new discovery shook their understanding of the vessel's purpose. Deep in the Antarctic ship's database, Fatima found evidence that the precursors hadn't just been fighting to survive, they had been working toward a fundamental transformation of the universe itself. The vessels aren't just weapons, she realized. They're keys to rewriting the basic laws of reality. The precursors believed that was the only way to truly defeat the enemy, to change the game entirely. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just inherited the means to defend Earth, they had been given the tools to reshape the cosmos itself. The question was, were they ready for such power, and could they succeed where the precursors had failed? The quantum sensors screamed their warning just as Dr. Marcus Rivera emerged from deep neural integration. 3 massive void entities had appeared simultaneously, one near Mars, another approaching Venus, and a third materializing within the asteroid belt. This was no scout mission. This was an orchestrated attack. Multiple quantum anomalies detected. Dr. Nikolai Volkov's voice was tense as he monitored the situation. They're larger than the Scout, and their energy signatures are completely different. They've adapted. In the 6 weeks since their first encounter with the enemy, the global defense network had expanded dramatically. 23 new pilots had successfully bonded with the vessels, though the transformation process had claimed 7 others who couldn't survive the neural strain. Director Aisha Patel coordinated the response from the Antarctic Command Center. All vessels, initiate combat protocols. Captain Yamamoto, deploy the defense platforms in Formation Delta. Through his enhanced senses, Marcus could feel the other pilots linking their consciousness into the defense network. Dr. Fatima Al-Rahman's voice echoed in their shared mind space, remember your training. Don't let them predict your patterns. Creativity is our strongest weapon. The enemy struck first. The void entity near Mars released a wave of anti-probability, attempting to collapse all quantum states in its path into absolute zero. The automated defense platforms responded with randomized burst patterns, but their attacks seemed to pass straight through the entity. They've evolved, Atlas announced, its usual calm demeanor showing signs of concern. These units can exist in multiple probability states simultaneously. Conventional quantum collapse will be ineffective. Captain Yamamoto's tactical genius proved crucial as he quickly reorganized their defenses. All pilots, synchronize with your vessel's consciousness. We need to generate new quantum states they haven't encountered before. Marcus felt his mind merge deeper with the Antarctic vessel than ever before. The transformation had progressed to the point where he could barely remember what normal human consciousness felt like. Through the neural network, he sensed the other pilots undergoing similar experiences. The vessels responded to their enhanced integration by revealing new capabilities. Energy patterns that defied known physics rippled through space as the ships engaged the enemy. Reality itself seemed to buckle and warp around the points of contact. They're not just trying to consume our solar system, Fatima realized, analyzing the battle through her enhanced perception. They're using these attacks to understand us, to learn our capabilities. Each engagement makes them stronger. The void entity in the asteroid belt demonstrated this by suddenly shifting its tactical approach. Instead of direct attacks, it began creating zones of probability interference, disrupting the pilot's ability to coordinate their defenses. It's targeting our neural network specifically, Dr. Patel observed. These entities are learning at an exponential rate. The battle raged across the solar system as humanity fought its first major engagement against the enemy. The vessel's power was incredible, but the void entity's ability to adapt made them formidable opponents. For every successful strategy, the enemy developed 3 countermeasures. In orbit around Venus, a defense platform exploded as a void tendril pierced its quantum shielding. The entity began consuming the platform's technology, incorporating its principles into its own structure. We can't let them analyze our weapons, Captain Yamamoto warned. Initiate self-destruct protocols on all compromised platforms. The tide turned when Marcus made a desperate gamble. Instead of fighting the enemy's probability interference, he embraced it, using the disruption to generate quantum states so chaotic that even the void entities couldn't process them. The other pilots followed his lead, creating a cascade of impossible probabilities. The enemy operates on prediction, he explained through the neural link. They consume probability by understanding it. So let's give them something they can never understand, pure chaos filtered through human creativity. The strategy worked. Unable to consume or adapt to the pilot's chaotic quantum manipulations, the void entities began to destabilize. One by one, they collapsed in on themselves, leaving behind only empty space and valuable data about their capabilities. But victory again came at a heavy cost. The intense neural load left several pilots comatose, their minds nearly burned out from the strain of generating such extreme quantum states. Even Marcus spent 3 days in medical isolation, his consciousness struggling to reintegrate with normal spacetime. The enemy will analyze this defeat, Atlas warned once Marcus recovered. The next wave will be stronger, more numerous. They will find ways to counter even chaos itself. In the aftermath of the battle, Director Patel called an emergency meeting of the vessel commanders. The pilots' transformation had accelerated dramatically during the combat, pushing them further from their original human nature. Some hadn't spoken aloud in weeks, communicating solely through the neural network. "We're approaching a point of no return," Dr. Patel announced. "The vessels are changing us faster than we can study the effects. Soon, the pilots may not be human enough to relate to the people they're defending." The implications weren't lost on anyone. Humanity's defenders were becoming something else entirely, a hybrid of human consciousness and precursor technology. The very weapons they needed to survive might end up transforming their species beyond recognition. Dr. Fatima Al-Rahman presented her latest findings from the archive chamber. The precursors' records suggest this was always part of their plan. They didn't just give us weapons, they gave us the means to evolve beyond their own limitations. In the neural interface chamber, Marcus reflected on how far they'd come and the challenges that lay ahead. Through his quantum-enhanced senses, he could feel the enemy regrouping, preparing for their next assault. But he also sensed something else, changes in the fabric of reality itself, subtle alterations that suggested the vessel's true purpose was still unfolding. "We're not just fighting for survival anymore," he told his fellow pilots through the neural link. "We're part of something bigger, an evolution of consciousness itself. The question is, are we ready for what we might become?" The main body of the enemy arrived like a tear in the fabric of reality, a vast darkness that dwarfed anything they had faced before. Dr. Marcus Rivera felt it before the sensors detected it, an overwhelming presence that threatened to consume not just matter and energy, but the very concept of existence itself. "It's larger than we anticipated," Dr. Nikolai Volkov reported, his voice steady despite the fear evident in his eyes. "The void mass spans multiple light-years. Our solar system is nothing but a morsel to it." In the Antarctic Command Center, Director Aisha Patel watched as real-time data streamed in from the outer system sensors. The enemy had learned from its previous encounters, manifesting in ways that defied their defensive calculations. This wasn't just an attack, it was an attempt to rewrite the fundamental laws of their universe. "All pilots to your vessels," Captain Yamamoto commanded. "This is what we've been preparing for." Everything else was just practice. The transformed pilots, now numbering 42 survivors, connected to their respective vessels. Their consciousness, far removed from ordinary human experience, merged with the ancient machines. Through their enhanced perception, they could see the true nature of their enemy, a cosmic cancer that consumed possibility itself, reducing all of reality to a single, dead state. Dar. Fatima Al-Rahman's voice echoed through the neural network. "The precursors' final records make sense now. They didn't just give us weapons, they gave us the tools to evolve beyond their own limitations. The enemy cannot be defeated through force alone. It must be transcended." Atlas manifested in the command center, its form more solid than ever before. "The time has come to reveal the vessel's true purpose. They are not merely ships or weapons. They are seeds of a new reality." The enemy struck first, sending out waves of probability collapse that threatened to unravel the very fabric of spacetime. The defensive platforms, even enhanced with human creativity, began failing under the assault. Mars's orbit destabilized as quantum fluctuations warped gravitational fields. "Standard defense protocols are failing," Captain Yamamoto reported. "We need to implement the Transcendence Protocol." Marcus, deeper in neural integration than ever before, understood what needed to be done. The vessels weren't meant to fight the enemy, they were designed to fundamentally change the nature of reality itself. Through human consciousness, they could rewrite the basic laws that the enemy exploited. All pilots, prepare for complete neural fusion, he commanded. We're not going to fight the void. We're going to change the game entirely. The 42 pilots synchronized their consciousness, merging not just with their vessels but with each other. Their individual identities dissolved into a singular awareness that spanned the solar system. Through their combined perception, they could see the quantum structure of reality itself, and more importantly, they could alter it. The enemy consumes probability by forcing reality into absolute states, Fatima explained through the collective consciousness. But what if reality itself became fluid, dynamic, impossible to collapse? The vessels began to pulse with energy that defied measurement. The transformed pilots, their minds now operating on levels beyond human comprehension, initiated the precursor's final protocol. Reality itself began to shift and change around them. Director Patel watched in awe as space itself seemed to ripple and flow. They're not just fighting the enemy, they're changing the fundamental nature of our universe. The enemy responded with overwhelming force, trying to consume the new quantum states as they formed. But the pilots, guided by human creativity and empowered by precursor technology, generated possibilities faster than they could be collapsed. Reality became a fluid, ever-changing stream of probability. This is what the precursors couldn't achieve, Atlas revealed. Their rigid thinking made them vulnerable. Human consciousness, with its capacity for imagination and adaptation, was the key they lacked. The transformation spread outward from the solar system, a wave of change that altered the basic fabric of spacetime. The enemy, faced with a reality it could no longer consume or comprehend, began to fragment and dissolve. But victory came with a price. The pilots, their consciousness expanded beyond the limits of human experience, could never return to their original forms. They had become something new, living quantum computers that existed across multiple dimensions of reality. We are no longer just human, Marcus communicated through the neural network, his individual voice barely distinguishable in the collective consciousness. But we haven't lost our humanity. We've expanded it to encompass something greater. As the enemy retreated from the transformed space around Earth, humanity faced a new challenge, adapting to a universe where reality itself had become fluid and dynamic. The vessels had not just saved Earth, they had initiated the next stage of cosmic evolution. Director Patel stood in the archive chamber, watching as new data wrote itself into existence. The war isn't over, she told her staff. The enemy will return, testing this new reality we've created. But we'll be ready. Humanity has taken its first steps into a larger universe. The transformed pilots, now existing as quantum consciousness spread across the solar system, became humanity's bridge to this new existence. Through them, ordinary humans could glimpse the incredible possibilities that lay ahead. We were never meant to just survive, Fatima's consciousness echoed through the neural network. We were meant to transcend, to become the guardians of possibility itself. The enemy sought to end all potential. We've ensured that the cosmos will remain forever alive with infinite possibility. As Earth's first transformed dawn broke over the Antarctic research station, humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. They had faced extinction and emerged not just victorious, but fundamentally changed. The age of traditional human civilization had ended, and the era of quantum humanity had begun. The vessels, their primary purpose fulfilled, began to transform themselves, becoming living nodes in the new quantum reality. They would serve as anchors for this changed universe, ensuring that the enemy could never again threaten the infinite possibilities of existence. Marcus, his consciousness spread across the quantum fabric of spacetime, felt the first stirrings of new potential arising in the transformed cosmos. This wasn't an ending, he realized. It was merely the beginning of humanity's true destiny among the stars.